When a prophecy comes true, is a killer born, or a victim? On a freezing February morning in 1925, in the heart of the Himalayas, a forgotten Tibetan monastery, lost in mist and silence. The wind strikes the bronze bells hanging from the stone. Was. And with each toll, it's as if an ancient secret is being whispered. The oil lamps burn dimly, their flames flickering, while the torches cast dancing shadows on the walls. At the end of a mountain path buried in snow, in this remote monastery, a body was found this morning. The body of the head monk, lying on his back, in the center of the ritual chamber, eyes wide open, lips parched. Beside him, a prophecy scroll, half covered in blood, and the prayer stones stained deep red. But there's no sign of a struggle in the room, not even an echo of a scream. The first to arrive was Father Matthias, a European missionary. He leaned in with his long robe and closed the monk's eyes.
I took a vow of silence, but that night I did not pray.
Not praying at that hour of the night, unusual. But even stranger, his flawless Tibetan, he speaks with the inner monastery dialect as if he grew up here. Then young monk Tenzin came running in, his face pale as snow, his hands trembling.
I only serve tea. That's all I've ever done.
But the tea tray was found by the monastery's outer gate at the time of the murder. Who went inside? Dr. Levent Arsal quietly leaned in and knelt beside the body. He reached his fingers toward the lips, then narrowed his eyes. I study plant roots. The cause of death could be natural. But in the monk's mouth, there's no poison, no wound, only burn marks, internal, and the scent of ash. Then, Madame Malin appeared. She claimed she was tracking the scroll. Her journal was found in the library.
I came for the legends, I had to see the scroll.
But the missing part of the prophecy was found in her room, and one of the pages was burned. High Priest Norbu didn't say a single word about any of it. He kept his head bowed, eyes closed, his lips perfectly still.
The time of the prophecy had come, but death arrived too soon.
For days, he had forced all the monks into silence and fasting. But the night before, whispers of dreams were heard from his room. Monks do not speak of dreams, because when dreams are told, prophecies awaken. The clues are scattered, but they're starting to come together. The blood on the prayer stones belongs to more than one person. On the bottom line of the scroll, it reads, in Tibetan tradition, ash symbolizes the breaking of sacred silence. Is this a ritual, a punishment, or has a much older curse been awakened? The bell tolls once more. Shadows fall upon the walls again. Is the prophecy complete, or has it only just begun? Who do you think is guilty? Did you listen to the details carefully? Write your answer in the comments. The next mystery begins in 10 seconds. How can a painting kill someone? 1897, a fog-drenched night in November. In the northern hills of Florence, deep within the stone forests, stood an abandoned manor. Its walls, moss-covered, windows blinded by cobwebs, and every step on the rotting wooden stairs creaked with decay. The wind slipped through shattered glass, making the portraits on the walls tremble. And inside, 6 people had gathered. The grand hall of the old manor was dimly lit by oil lamps. Shadows danced, and candlelight shimmered across the surface of the painting. In that painting, a cursed masterpiece from the 17th century, long thought to be lost. Is it a fake, or is it real? No one knows for sure, but everyone is there because of it. And one of them is no longer alive. In the hall, lying on the floor just beneath the painting, Count Vincenzo, his eyes frozen, wide open, dried blood at the corners of his mouth, and a silence darker than the shadow on the wall had fallen over him. In his hand, a broken pocket watch stopped at 2:47. Beside him, a single line written in Latin. Duchess Arabella had come all the way from England. With her slender fingers, she pulled a velvet handkerchief from her purse and gently wiped the surface of the painting.
I only wanted to see if it's fake or not.
But there were traces of mercury in the test tube she pulled from her purse, a toxic chemical used in reality tests. Why was she carrying it? High Priest Tommaso, in his black robe, moves like a shadow through the hall. He avoids looking at the painting, his hands making the sign of prayer.
There is no such thing as a curse. This is a test.
But why does he turn his head away every time he looks at the painting? Could it be that he really saw something? Michel De Luca, a pardoned art smuggler. His eyes scan every corner, his steps cautious. He had stayed the longest by the Count's side.
The Count forgave me, I owed him.
But in his pocket, an old map was found, showing the painting's location. So how did he get there? Dr. Fay Loring, a French psychiatrist, walked slowly through the hall. She had treated the Count in the past. She claimed his mind was fractured.
He was seeing hallucinations recently. He completely lost touch with reality.
But the mixtures found in his room were not ordinary. The hallucinogenic effect was a formula activated solely through eye contact. Who was it prepared for? Luigi, the manor servant. He's lived there for years. And still, he only speaks Italian. But someone claims to have heard the sound of bare feet at 2:30 a.m. Just outside the door, a pair of muddy shoes was found. Luigi's shoes.
I don't know.
A hidden passage was discovered behind the library shelves. At the end of the passage, another painting, the same figure. But this time, its eyes are staring straight ahead, as if it's watching. And here are the clues. A broken watch, an incomplete sentence, a century-old silence hidden within a painting. But the timelines don't match. Some say everyone was in the hall at 2:30, yet the watch stopped at 2:47, the Count's final night. Echoes in everyone's ear, like a whisper, a painting, a curse, and a killer hidden within silence. So, is this just art? Or is it revenge concealed within art? Who do you think is guilty? Did you listen to the details carefully? Write your answer in the comments. The next mystery begins in 10 seconds. How does the curse hidden within a lost masterpiece turn people into mere players? In the might of the Roman Empire, where civilization once flourished on these lands, but in the dark corners of Rome, undiscovered secrets lie in wait. A group of explorers had ventured deep into the mountains outside of Rome, but they were searching for more than just one thing: a lost temple, an ancient treasure buried underground. It was a stormy night, and the dark sky had filled the tunnels beneath the earth. With every step, the sound of footsteps echoed off the decaying stones. The flickering light of the torches cast sorrowful shadows on the walls. And in the depths, something was waiting. Something, a prophecy from beyond time, and that prophecy was consuming everything within it. The first to take a step was their leader, Septimus, brave, yet he could feel something inside him urging him forward.
This temple, the old map must be correct. There's a lost treasure here. We will all find something.
But something was missing. There was an unease within everyone. Suddenly, a scream from the depths, someone had vanished. Cassius, the temple expert, had suddenly disappeared. All that remained were the echoes of footsteps in the darkness. Another sound, another disappearance. No one knew. The darkness deepened further. Every corner, every focal point seemed to threaten like a looming danger. Yet, everyone was doing just one thing, moving forward, but time, strangely, had begun to twist. Footsteps, turns, glances, everything was blending together. They saw each other and passed by. Yet with every step, they moved towards something else. And then a note was found, a message, deeply etched into the stone walls of the temple. Only one word.
When you find me, make the final touch. But first, understand everything correctly.
But what was the truth? Was time really bending? Despite being certain that Cassius had vanished, the missing person seemed to have never disappeared at all. Everything seemed to spin endlessly within the fabric of time. Then Marcus began to ponder the inscriptions. With every moment he spent deciphering the writing, another clue emerged. But each clue gave birth to another unknown. The eyes of the ancient figures in the frescoes seemed to feel they were being watched. And then another clue emerged. A monk stood in a deep, shadowed corner. No one paid attention, yet everyone saw the monk. But the monk's face was anything but familiar. His face seemed to have emerged from the depths of time itself. At first, he seemed ordinary, innocent, but was it just a strange coincidence that the monk stood exactly at the heart of the temple? Then something else happened. Julian, who seemed like the end of everything, said something.
We need to go back. Something's going wrong. We have to do this.
But Julian's body, his eyes, there was something strange about him. His face seemed to have emerged from the depths of a lost time. The truth of the story was hidden, but no one knew what that hidden truth was. The storm continued to rage outside. As the explorers made their way deeper into the temple's innermost chamber, one more thing they realized. Time had completely disappeared. In the depths of the temple, everything had turned dark. An endless darkness was pulling them into both the past and the future. Time was bending irreversibly. In the end, the temple began to collapse. The end of everything, the conclusion of it all. But something remained. The key to everything had already been unlocked. A prophecy, a single step in time. Yet the temple continued to guard the dark secret of history. So, can you solve the mystery of Cassius's disappearance? If you've followed the details carefully, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for the next mystery.